Hey, happy Monday. It's Greg Burdine, pastor of Faith Baptist Church. Hope you're having a good Monday, beginning of the week. We're having a Red Cross blood drive, so if you get a chance, come on out. I'm sure we got plenty of openings, but come on out and be with us. Hopefully we'll have some things going on. Also have Ada Pennington's funeral, and so remember that family in your prayers. Howard, her husband, great guy, good friend of mine. So anyway, yesterday we talked about the certainty of God's promises. That's the good thing. You know, some people you can't count on, but God, you can surely count on. God is going to tell you the truth. And there's an interesting verse that I opened up with, and that's in Hebrews chapter 6 and verse 13. And I want to kind of take a little bit of a deeper dive into that one. Listen to what it says. It's talking about the assurance of our salvation. You know, in the past section at the beginning of chapter 6, it talks about that there's going to be some people that look like they were Christians, but they're really not going to be Christians. So how do we know if we are Christians? How do we know that we're going to get to heaven? It says this, it's talking about God's truthfulness and God's faithfulness. It says in Hebrews 6:13, "For when God made promise to Abraham, because he could swear by no greater, he swore by himself." When God made a promise to Abraham, there was no person, no object greater that he could swear by, so he swore by himself. Now, even if he didn't, and sometimes we get this idea that swearing means cursing. It's not. It's basically stating that I'm going to tell the truth. If you've ever seen somebody put their hand on the Bible, like in a court case, I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. They've done two things. They put their hand on the Bible as something that they believe is infallible, it's something they believe is truthful, and they're swearing by God. We've heard people say things like, I don't really lean into it and say it's a good thing, but they say, I swear by God that I'm going to do this. In other words, they are linking themselves up with something that is more truthful than they are. And in human terms, we need to appeal to something higher. If you, for example, somebody says, oh yeah, I'm going to do that. Shake my hand. Now, what does that do? That means they promised it. Sometimes you may even ask them to sign their name, that they were going to do what they're going to do. God will do what he promised to do. Our security doesn't rest on our performance, how we feel, the circumstances that are around it. God said it. I believe it. That settles it. It rests on God's nature. God said in Romans chapter 10, whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be saved. When you trust Jesus Christ as your personal Savior, he changes you. You become part of his family. And his promises, all of his promises, rest on his character. And his character never changes. Abraham was confident, not because of who he was, not because of his faith, but because of what he had his faith in. You know, if you have your faith in something, but it's not very good, your faith is only as strong as what you have it in. Even if you have weak faith, if it's in something strong, it's okay. You may not believe a chair will hold you up, but if you sit down in it and it holds you up, that little bit of faith is good enough. And if you have all the faith in the world that that chair is going to hold you up, but it doesn't matter how much faith you have in it, wasn't a good chair. When you believe in Jesus, he said he'd save you, he'll save you. So what are you relying on? Yourself or God? Me? I'm relying on God. I'll fail. I'll mess up. I'll forget. God? No. God is always truthful. Anchor your confidence in who God is, not who you are. God bless you today.